Hello, it's me, Liz Grace Christie. I'm sure you all are in a big old cloud of mystery onto where I have been for the last few months. It looks like my last recording and podcast took place around July 4th, 2025. So I'm definitely very late here, and I do owe you all an explanation. I have been completely whisked away by the flows of summer. And I realized that this podcast, as far as the weekly Goddess Report is concerned, a weekly podcast that I did ever since November 2nd or 1st, 2024, I started doing weekly podcasts and I was getting burned out. Yes, this podcast, or rather the weekend Goddess Report, in my mind, was a success. I accumulated some followers, new subscribers, and I learned how to use my voice a little bit more. However, when the summer set in, I realized that I had another calling, a calling to be present and present in performance. I've been lucky enough to be invited to many music festivals over this last summer, starting with Oregon Country Fair in early July, followed up by Tectonic Shift Festival, which is a regional burn. And then after that, I was at Ohm on the Range, a basshead music festival in Glenwood, Washington. Shortly after Ohm on the Range, I was at another festival called the Good Time Camp Out. I've been in the Pacific Northwest for all of these events. They're all a little bit smaller. They're not like Lightning in a Bottle or Bonnaroo, for example, or Electric Forest. They're a little bit more homegrown, a little bit grounded, in my opinion. And recently, I just got back from Burning Man. Yes, I was at Burning Man this year. And long story short, I've been using my voice in the presence of humans right in front of me. I've kind of stepped away from recording and producing podcasts because, like I said, it was burning me out. Doesn't mean I wasn't using my voice. And what I've been trying to say this whole time is that this podcast has actually been really successful at helping me understand my voice. And I think that's why this summer, when I realized I had to kind of switch gears and focus on a different trajectory, my voice is still involved. I've just become more of a clown, you could say. Everywhere I've been the last few months, I've been putting on my clown makeup and embracing this character named Mazes, M-A-Z-E-Z. Mazes was established in 2024 around the time of year Burning Man took place last year, so end of August, early September. I created Mazes as a moniker for my DJ presence, which you can find me on the internet, specifically Instagram and on SoundCloud. If you look up Mazes, M-A-Z-E-Z 444. So I'm a DJ, and this summer I realized that my DJ also is a clown, and that clown is also somewhat of an MC. So I've been integrating my voice specifically when I am DJing, and I've been learning how to tame it over the last few months at these music festivals. And this is a part of me I've never explored. If you grew up with me, mom and dad, you know how shy I was at one point in my life and how it was really, really hard for me to talk in front of people that I was not close with. If you were close with me, you knew that I had a gift of gab, but it was really hard for me to be comfortable around most people and really open up. And I am 32. I will identify my age. And I would say it really took me 32 years to get into the space where I feel comfortable using my voice. And this podcast really played a big part of that. So thank you for coming along the journey with me. And thank you for your patience, because I understand that some of my subscribers may be a little ticked off, that I haven't been present. I just kind of disappeared off of this internet landscape, this YouTube channel, but I'm back. I've had my reasons and I'm still out there doing my little thing, just not every week through the weekend Goddess Report, which I don't really know what I'm going to do with. I was really getting really burned out having to do it weekly. So I think I'm going to shift gears and attempt to do a monthly once the summer kind of clamps down, or once the summer slows down, because I'm going to be going to another music festival here in about a week and a half called Cascade Equinox in Bend, Oregon. And of course, I'm going to be a little clown there. So if you're going to be at Cascade Equinox, keep an eye out for Mazes the clown. I usually dress up in neon face paint, and I usually have on some really awesome handmade clothes that I made. Carrying on with the advent of me taking a pause on this podcast, or rather the Weekend Goddess Report. Yes, I did step into more of a performative, somewhat different trajectory away from esoterica and astrology, but I was really working on some things in the background that are astrologically and esoterically related. And that would be that as of today, while I'm recording this podcast, September 9th, 2025, I'm officially a published author. Yeah, it's true. I was contacted by someone named Erica Glessing of Happy Publishings a couple months ago. And I don't know how she found me. I'm guessing from the Galactic Astrology.com database. She reached out to me through email and she set up a Zoom call with me, and we were speaking live through the internet, and she wanted me to be a part of this book she's publishing that consists of 12 authors, me being one of them. And she was looking to fill 3 more spots for her book. Granted, I was a little skeptical of Erica at first. I've been offered a lot of things through email that kind of end up being these schemes to get me to pay a lot of money for them to help me promote myself. So I was fishy about it. But after this phone call with Erica, I realized that she was the real deal. And she told me that she would let me think on my offering for this book, because I was completely blank-minded when she was pitching the idea to me through that Zoom call. And then I realized after about 3 days of thinking that I have actually been working on a manuscript. I don't know what you would call it, like a story, a channeling. I think that one of the editors for the book summarized my chapter as an initiation. And I think in some ways it is, because if you read it, it doesn't read like a traditional story, but it definitely has some parallels to mythology in it that make it fun to read, but it's also definitely has a big message. I wrote it around last fall, so 2024. I do believe I was channeling something. I've been working a lot with the Goddess series, who's also akin to Isis and also akin to the star Sirius. With all that in mind, I definitely feel a huge connection to that goddess, and I'm actually going to be getting a tattoo of her on my abdomen very soon. I hope that's not too much TMI, but I do find it all very synchronistic. We are here in the season of Virgo right now, and I do feel so strongly that series is very much so linked to the goddess Virgo. So with all that in mind, I thought I would read an excerpt from my chapter of the book Starseeds, Your Soul's Journey, a compilation of 12 authors, one of them being me. My chapter is chapter 8, and it is titled Persephone's Kiss. So I'm going to go ahead and read you an excerpt from that, from the subchapter in chapter 8, subchapter 7, which is titled Time is Alive. This story is a ripple in the weave of timelines you have concocted in the streams of consciousness. The eye of a needle is more than a straight line. It's a space where you fall through the web that creates time on your planet. In this space of potential, one can experience all the superimposed angles of consciousness your collective has to offer. Nothing exists without belief. And it's within this duality that matter fragments out of the spiral and creates the illusion of a straight line in space. In truth, it's a hyper multidimensional beam of light split off from the spiral. The more people that perceive a specific beam of light, the stronger in density it becomes, and the more influential it becomes over the whole spiraling strand. When a concentrated area of light becomes ill or goes into a dark era, the organism of time has a fail-safe system. Cosmonauts, truth seekers, angels. They move through time and spread their light energy around the whole system to dissipate the system from becoming ill. This also creates themes of consciousness that help perpetuate simple truths that penetrate lifetimes, generations, and species. We truly are all cut from the same cloth, the living organism of time. ascended masters, angels, and higher vibrational beings use the keyholes between the angles to offer service to lower dimensional beings. All right, so that was a subchapter 7 of chapter 8 of Persephone's Kiss, which is a part of the book I was just published in, titled Starseeds, Your Soul's Journey. If that enticed you and you would love to read the full chapter and perhaps read some of the other contributions that the lovely 11 other artists / authors wrote, you can purchase this book on Amazon for your Kindle, so digitally, or you can purchase it for audio listening, such as through Audible. However, these digital purchases do not directly fund me. They do promote the book itself, which is awesome and great. But if you would like to directly patron me, I would suggest going over to my website, galacticmythology.com, and purchasing a paperback book. Paperback books come in black and white or in color. So I'm honestly more of a person that likes a tangible copy over digital. Call me old school, I know. The black and white book is available for $22, and the color book is available for $27 on my website. Purchasing a book through my website directly patrons me, where purchasing the book on Amazon directly patrons the publisher. Either way, follow your heart. I'm just proud to be a part of this book, Starseeds, Your Soul's Journey. You can find the links below for your convenience, or you can Google search or do whatever you prefer. We got a lot of options these days for search engines. Carrying on, I have another announcement. I have been selected to be a speaker for the Galactic Astrology Summit, which is happening in January of 2026. Any information available on that will be in my info below. So if you're not listening on YouTube, hopefully you can utilize one of your search engines to look up the Galactic Astrology Summit that is happening in January of 2026. It's an internet summit, so anyone all over the world can attend as long as you find the time to be within a reasonable time frame for your time zone. Hold on a minute. I just realized. So that summit is actually called the Quantum Soul Guidance Summit 2026. Julia Balaz, the organizer and basically godmother of galactic astrology, at least that formal term / label for it, is the coordinator of the Quantum Soul Guidance 2026 Summit. She has fused her practice of astrology with quantum soul guidance, which is a practice that was created and popularized by, why am I blanking on her name right now? I love her so much. Dolores Cannon. So with that in mind, Quantum Soul Guidance 2026 Summit, that's what you're going to be wanting to look up, and I will be providing links down below. Carrying on. Thank you again for going on this journey with me and being patient. I do plan to produce more content. However, I'm just going to keep listening to my universe and the flow and my energy levels, because producing a podcast every week is very taxing, especially if I'm doing it for no monetary means. Essentially, I'm doing this out of the goodness and passion of my heart, and a lot of things are just not adding up in a way that felt like I was getting a good energy exchange, except for the fact that I've been able to really explore my voice and launch me into this summer, essentially. So anyways, I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work for me so that we can all enjoy the best content from me. I also really want to be able to take more time with episodes so that I can really produce high quality stuff, because I was just feeling kind of discouraged. I felt like the work I was producing wasn't up to par to how I would like it. And it has a lot to do with the fact that I'm the only person producing these things, and I'm a fashion designer, I'm a clown, I'm a DJ, I got a lot going on. So I got to simplify. So I decided to simplify by just not doing weekly weekend goddess reports. I do think I'm going to move into the space of monthly, but we got to wait. In the meantime, support me through reading my book that I was just published in, or by booking a reading for me if you would like to hear my voice and get my perspective. That would directly help me and my quality of life, and also potentially help your quality of life. People tell me I'm a good astrologer. Yeah, it's true, they do. So with all that in mind, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening to me. Go check out Starseeds, Your Soul's Journey, a compilation of 12 authors, including me, Persephone's Kiss, Chapter 8. Check it out. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night. You will hear from me in the future.